Hi, I'm Jamie Carragher, and you are listening to Across the Park Podcast.
Welcome to Across the Park Podcast, the only place you can hear banter and debate from both sides of Stanley Park, whether it be blue or red. Sponsored by Their Clothing, Camper Kings UK, and affiliation with BetMate.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Across the Park Extra. I'm your host Phil Roberts and I'm joined by my fellow Red, Gary Murray. Today's guest has had a brilliant career managing to score goals for his boyhood club and country. Some say he's the greatest penalty taker of all time. It is, of course, Rickie Lambert. Thanks for joining us, Rickie. I appreciate you being on.
No, it's a pleasure, lads. Nice to be here.
Thanks. How's lockdown treating you, mate?
I'm getting sick of it now, mate. To be honest, I'm getting sick of it.
It's boring. Isn't
it? You could see the light a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not sure what's going to happen now. I've been hearing rumours that it might go back into lockdown. So it's. I think it's getting to everyone now, but obviously we understand why it's happening and the health of everyone. But it is getting on my nerves a little bit now.
Yeah. You starting to put as much weight on as I am.
Oh, mate. But I'll be honest, mate, my exercise hasn't changed that much before the lockdown.
Yeah.
But mate, I'm struggling a little bit now. I need to get myself back into gear.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right, then let's take it back to the beginning. Obviously, born in Kirby, and as far as I know, you're a lifelong Red. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So were you born family of Reds, or what was it? Yeah,
no, family of Reds. Even my aunties, I had a lot of aunties. I had about 8 or 9 aunties. They were all Reds. So the whole big family was Reds. Obviously, my dad was a Red, and as you know, you normally follow what your dad supports and your mum and dad. So I was always probably going to be a Red. And I remember being a big Liverpool supporter, a big football fan from as early as I can remember, mate. I love football from the earliest memory I've got in my life, and obviously Liverpool was one of my hobbies and what I looked up to at the time.
So, can you remember the first game you seen on the telly or the first match you went to? Did anyone in your family have a season ticket or anything like that?
No, none of my family ever went to the game. They couldn't afford it, probably.
Yeah.
But the first game I can remember was, I don't know whether it was 1989 or 1990, Liverpool against Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah.
We actually lost it. I think we beat them 9-0 that season. And the one I can remember is the one we lost in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
4-3.
I think that's the season we won the league, though.
Yeah. I think it was 1990, that wasn't it?
Yeah. The 89-90 season, yeah.
I'll struggle with that. It was the year I was born.
So that was the earliest memory of Liverpool, and I can remember the 1990 World Cup and Platt scoring the goal. They were my early.
Yeah.
Yeah. The volley, the turn and volley.
I know the one. Yeah.
Gascoigne pass and then the turn and volley. They were my earliest memories I can remember of football.
So you're always being attracted to the goal scorers when you were watching footy at that age?
Yeah. My hero back then, mate, was Johnny Barnes.
Yeah.
He was, I just loved watching him. I just loved watching him, mate. I couldn't believe how good he was. And obviously when I was playing with my mates, I was trying to be Barnes, and but he was just so good. And obviously my dad's hero was Dalglish, and I love Dalglish, but he's probably a little bit before my time, what I can remember.
Yeah, he's a manager by the time you're watching Liverpool. He's the manager, I suppose. Yeah. So very early on then, so age 10, you get the chance to go and play for Liverpool youth team. So Talk to us about how that's come about. Were you just playing Sunday League or for the school? Or...
Yeah, I was playing for local team, Everton Park.
Yeah.
A few of my mates playing, and it was brilliant teammates. Enjoyed it, loved it, and then we got into the final in Ainsdale and Southport League, and we won. And then after the game, a Liverpool scout come over and said, "Can you come to trials on next week or something like that?" And I said I was going away for 2 weeks the day after the final, so I was devastated. I didn't want to go on the holiday, but they said, "Don't worry, when you get back, just come and train with us." So I can remember being on holiday, counting down the days so I could get home to go on trial for Liverpool. Obviously, got home, done the trials, and I managed to get a contract, mate, and it was unbelievable. I was so proud. My mum and dad were so proud, and it was absolutely superb.
Once that happens, are you then is that your Sunday League days over now that you're at Liverpool? And
I think at first, not really. I think back then you could still play, but I think after about a year, 2 years, they stopped just playing. Then you couldn't play, and I didn't like that, to be honest. I love my Sunday League teams.
Yeah, it's like you're playing with your mates as much as you're playing footy, aren't you? You're with your mates then. Yeah,
so I didn't like that, but obviously I had to do it. I didn't do it all the time, I'll be honest. I did play the odd game for me old team. But yeah, I was at Liverpool until I was 15. To be honest, I loved the first 3 years. I'd done really well. I was one of the best young kids at that age in Merseyside, and Everton wanted me, and I'd done really well. And then when the body started to change, 13, 14, 15, that's when I started to struggle a little bit. And then it didn't surprise me when I got let go at 15, but it was devastating. It was still devastating, even though I kind of knew it was coming.
Well, who did you go through the youth team set up with, Rickie? Was there any established
players? Yes, Steve Warnock.
Oh, yeah.
Kev Nolan.
Yeah.
But the brightest star in our team was Ian Armstrong. I don't know whether...
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, no, he was the golden boy of our team, and there was a lot of hopes on him. And I think he had a few bad injuries when he was growing up, and he still made it, mate. He still had a good career. He played for Port Vale, and he played plenty of games in the Football League.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Steve Warnock. Even back then, mate, you could tell Steve Warnock was a player.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anyone tackle quite as hard as Warnock tackles. He's like a train, isn't he?
Even with his 2 broken legs.
Yeah. No, he was a man against boys back then, mate. It was unbelievable. I think he progressed earlier than us, and his left foot was unbelievable.
So what about yourself? You're talking about he sort of progressed. He was a man, but you're a big fella. I was just wondering how early that happened for you, and were you bigger than the other lads and stuff?
Yeah, I was bigger than everyone, and believe it or not, I had pace when I was 10. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was bigger. I was faster. I was stronger than everyone else. And then, like I said, when I hit 13, 14, 15, everyone else caught up with me then, and like I said, I found it difficult. Not only did I lose the pace, I became one of the slowest as well, which is quite cruel. Where other kids like Stevie Warnock, they were going into their own, where I was going the other way.
Would you say at that age you didn't have to work on your technique as much then? If you were bigger than everyone, you just run through them and smash them off the ball and that. So were people having to work on the technique more than you, and then when they caught up, you were a little bit behind at that stage of your life?
It's a good point, mate. You know what? I've never thought of it like that before. I did find it tedious, the sessions I used to do at Liverpool, because they used to drill it into you. You touch over your shoulder. When I look back now, it was brilliant, and subconsciously I was learning it, but I didn't really enjoy it at the time. And like you said, mate, I probably wasn't paying enough attention to it because I knew I could just knock it out my feet, barge past someone, and knock it in the top corner. And I used to do it every game. But like you said, mate, when them aspects started to fail, maybe I struggled on the on the other side, and I didn't have the technical ability of other players, especially Ian Armstrong, who loved these sessions and thrived on them.
Yeah.
And that's probably why one of the reasons I got let go. Yeah.
So how old were you? I mean, sorry, who was the coach at that time? Sorry.
So it was Steve Iway who pulled me in.
Yeah.
Who gave me the news and just basically said, don't think you're gonna be good enough for Liverpool, and wish you all the best, basically.
Are they that blunt?
Well, yeah, basically. I mean, he said a few other things I can't remember, but when you're in there, you just know that he's getting rid of you, so you don't really pay attention to the little details. It was just the devastation that he's telling you that you get, like, they're letting you go. And it was 1 year before the YTS, which I was desperate to try and get the YTS.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, so you've already mentioned like how gutting it was. Did you think that was it for you in football? Or did you know there was going to be something after Liverpool?
No, I was very lucky because my friend who was at Liverpool, Danny Coyd, he got let go before me, a year before me, and went to Blackpool with my other friend, Darren Connell.
Yeah.
So when I got let go, it was a natural thing to go and train at Blackpool with my mates.
So did you just go straight to Blackpool? Did you, as soon as you left Liverpool?
Straight to Blackpool that week, I think, mate. Straight on trials, playing with them, training with them. And yeah, loved it. Loved Blackpool. And then after a while, I got a schoolboy for a year, and then I just about got a YTS at Blackpool. I did just about get. I was struggling and getting one, but I managed to get a YTS at Blackpool.
So they've been relegated, hadn't they? And then I think you were on a month-by-month contract, which must have been quite a lot of pressure for what, you were 16, 17 at this point, were you?
So I got a YTS, so that took me to 18, like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And then Steve McMahon took over.
Yeah.
One of my other heroes.
Yeah.
And he didn't like me.
Oh.
It was pretty clear early doors that I think he liked. He knew I was technically a good player, and he used to say that. But fitness-wise, mate, I was so far behind everyone else. I couldn't really understand why. I just knew I was always at the back. I was always struggling, and I think that was one of the main reasons why he only gave me a month to month. And yeah, it didn't last long at Blackpool under McMahon. 6 months, I managed to sign.
So we've done numerous interviews with McMahon, like live on stage and on the podcast and stuff. And he's always talking about runners and how much he likes runners. And when you talk to him about certain midfielders, you go, "Oh, he can't run." So you probably you're a target man in a way, aren't you? In many ways.
Yeah.
So,
well, not to be honest, mate. At YTS, I was a right back the first year, and then I got moved into centre midfield.
Yeah. The
second year, and then I was centre midfield till I was 23, 24.
Oh, okay.
So he let me go as a central midfielder, and he, like I said, basically said, "You're not fit enough. You can't get around the pitch and do the things I want you to do."
Okay. So you're developing a thick skin by now. You have a couple of rejections there, one from your big club, one from one of your idols, McMahon. But this is a thick skin that's going to be essential for you to go throughout your career, because football's I suppose it's a bit of a heartless career to be in, isn't it?
It is, mate. And one of my biggest recommendations to any kid is don't take knockback too much to heart, because everyone goes through it. These are certain percentage, 1 or 2%, who never get a knockback, and they're the special players. But the majority of us always get a knockback. It's about learning from it and coming back stronger. So yeah, that did. The Liverpool one hurt me, but the Blackpool one really knocked me confidence. You're saying about thick skin. I didn't have thick skin at this time, to be honest, mate. I was still a young kid.
Yeah.
I'd moved away from home, really away from my friends. So this was my first test.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, where do I go now?
Yeah.
And that was a hard time. That was a tough time then.
Well, it did take a while for you to get a new club after that, wasn't it? You were out the game for 4 or 5 months, was it?
Yeah. So
before you joined Macclesfield.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
it?
So
what's the process in that 4 months? How are you trying to find a new club? What's the sort of process for you there?
I was training at Macclesfield in this time. Not for the entire 4 and 5 months, but for most of it. But it just wasn't on a contract. I was on trial basically, and I was doing really well. I was starting to enjoy my football again, but they just didn't have money to offer me a contract. And then it got to the point where I had to go to them and said, "Listen, I'm going to have to pack this in and go and find a job," because I was 18, 19, I had no money, and it was costing 20 quid a day to just get to Macclesfield.
Yeah.
Like trying to get lifts off people or staying over in a hostel. So I was about to quit professional football. In my head, I was going to get a job and then try and be semi-pro. That was the next step in my head at this point.
Yeah. But obviously at some point along the way, you've been offered a contract there, so you must have been training really well, and you've kind of played 9 games in the end of that season. But then you go into the next season, and I think you've scored 5 goals in your first 2 games, and you've gone on to make 40 appearances. So now you're really starting to come of age, and obviously your confidence is building back up, and you must be thinking, no longer you're thinking I might be working on a semi-pro at the weekend. You're looking at a career now. And that's happened over the course of, 12, 18 months. So what was that period like for you?
Yeah, it was brilliant, that period. I absolutely loved it. The group of lads, Macclesfield lads, I had were great lads, great characters.
Yeah.
They liked to drink as well, which I like to drink as well. So I loved it, mate. And I was loving the football. I wasn't no longer playing centre mid. I was playing like a number 10 or one of the forwards on the left coming in. And I was one of the main focal points of the team, even though I was so young. I was 18, 19. But the manager loved me, and I loved it. I played some of my best football then.
So was everything going through you, was it, for Macclesfield?
Everything was going through me, mate. Yeah, I was they were trying to get me the ball every opportunity they could, and I was ripping teams apart, to be honest. I was scoring some great goals, and again, like you said, mate, I was just enjoying football, and then you start to think like the possibilities again, where like 6 months before or a year before, I was almost out the game. Now I'm thinking I can do well in football. Yeah, I reckon I could get to the Championship, maybe the Premier League one day. This is the thought I was going through at this point.
Yeah. Must be great when the half-time team talk is get the ball to Rickie.
I loved it, and I could see the confidence the lads had in me as well. So I just thrived off that, especially being a young kid.
Yeah,
I loved that. And there was no pressure on me. There was absolutely no pressure on me whatsoever, defensively or if the team lost. The fans loved me, so it was brilliant going into training and then playing.
Yeah. So was it clear that you're a level above the league, basically? Were other people noticing it as well as yourself, that you had something that they didn't? Yeah,
I think they could. I think like my confidence was thriving at then, so my technical ability was obviously easy to see that I was a step above everyone else, and started to get a few scouts coming to the game, which I didn't know how many scouts came until I signed for Stockport. But it was, like I said, I was starting to get interest. I was starting to hear rumours and stuff like that, and it was Stockport County who came in for me.
Yeah, 300 grand, not bad for a young lad from that division. And you've gone up a division now when you've gone to Stockport, I believe. So are you thinking, well, this was another test, or were you confident you were going to smash it there? Or
I was confident I was going to smash it. I that I'm going to prove that I'm one of the best players in League One, and I was planning on doing well for Stockport, and Stockport doing well and because Stockport was a massive team at this point.
Yeah.
They'd recently just been relegated from the Championship, and they'd been in the Championship for years. So they spent a bit of money, and their idea was to go straight back up.
Yeah.
And that was my idea.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out like that, mate.
Yeah.
Was the step up to League One a noticeable change? You know, was the standard of football better and was it harder for you?
It was harder, but it wasn't just the step up. It was me and Carlton Palmer was not a good mix. He wanted to put me back into centre midfield and a deep line midfielder of a free. And pretty early doors, it didn't work well. But instead of him putting me in a different position, I battled away in centre midfield. And then after about 10, 12 games, he stopped playing me. So I became very frustrated, and it wasn't a good time for me at Stockport under Carlton Palmer anyway.
See, that's mad, because I had a look at the statistics for your first season there, and I thought, he hasn't had the best season then. But I'm thinking in my head, you're a striker, and now you're coming on saying you're a defensive centre mid.
Yeah.
It's mad to think they signed you there from, you know, as a number 10 type player, and then wanted to drop you back that far. It's obviously taken away the effect you can have on games.
Obviously, a few years looking back on it, it probably put me back a little bit. But at the time, Carlton Palmer, he's had an unbelievable career.
Yeah,
he's new into management, and he's telling me thinks this is my best position. So as a young kid, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'll play anywhere. Put me on the pitch.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not till when I look back where I thought that was the wrong decision. Yeah, wrong decision. It cost us both a little bit, I think, because he did spend a big money on me.
Yeah.
There was pressure on me, so that did affect me. And then obviously it didn't work out.
Yeah, but the next season looked, I don't know who come in as the manager then, but obviously you played 40 games and you scored 12 goals. So next season things are starting to really pick up again for you, aren't they?
Yeah, Sammy McElroy, Carlton Palmer got sacked. Sammy McElroy came in and he loved me. He loved me. He played me in a 4-4-2 centre mid, but I was the attacking one.
Yeah.
So I had less responsibility to be the defender, which I thrived on again. And I'd done really well, mate. I got player of the year, leading goal scorer. And again, I was starting to enjoy my football. The lads were starting to do well. We going into the third season, looking really excited to try and push on again. And to this day, mate, that's one of the most disappointing seasons I've ever had. The third season of Stockport, it was just a disaster. Yeah,
under the threat of relegation there, you've moved on to Rochdale. So was that kind of like a sideways step in your career at the time, or did you see it as a step up, or what?
No, it was a step down. It was a step down. It went that bad the final season. The fans turned on the team and they turned on me.
Yeah.
Out of everyone the most, and I took that really badly as a 22, 23-year-old. So I when the chance came to get out the club, I jumped at it, mate.
Yeah.
I didn't really care where it was. I spoke to Steve Parkin, who was the Rochdale manager, and he said all the right things. And so I went, get me there. So I was literally there within a couple of days.
Yeah.
Training. So just trying to enjoy football again, because at this point my confidence again was on the floor.
Well, you must have done, because at this point you've become a 1-in-2 striker, almost 22 goals in 46 appearances, and that 1-in-2 growing up, that was always what you wanted to see from your goal scorer, wasn't it? 1-in-2, and that's where you were that season.
Yeah, no. So Steve Parkin, this is where I changed from a midfielder to a striker. He said I'm going to play up top with Grant Holt. Yeah. And it was brilliant, mate. And I took to it straight away, because deep down, naturally, I was always a striker, mate. As a kid, I was a striker, so it didn't take me long to flourish, to be honest, and especially with the partnership with Grant Holt.
Yeah.
We smashed that league. I think he was leading goal scorer. I was a couple of behind, and then he got sold. I went on to be the leading goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love playing. I love playing for Rochdale, and I love playing up front.
Yeah.
At this time, are you still able to? Obviously, you're a Liverpool fan still, and are you still able to watch the Liverpool games and follow what they're doing? Because obviously that season, you're in that 2005. Now it's one of the biggest seasons of our recent memory with Istanbul round, coming around. Was you able to sort of follow, and did you manage to get to any?
I went to all the home games in the Champions League.
Did you? Yeah.
I went, mate, yeah, and it was incredible. I used to go to watch Liverpool when I could, when I was a player. Whenever I didn't have a game and Liverpool was playing, if I could get a ticket, I would go. But I was lucky enough that I could get the Champions League tickets. And it was amazing. I can still remember the Chelsea game at home. Yeah. That's still probably the best atmosphere I've ever seen. So I was very lucky that season, mate. But I was, as you can tell me, I've never stopped being a massive Liverpool fan. So that year was one of the best.
It was. I loved it. That Chelsea game, one of the best nights of my life. That the Garcia goal. Were you at the recent Barcelona comeback game?
No, it wasn't.
Couldn't make that one.
See, no, do you want to know what, mate? This is gonna embarrass me so much.
We can edit it.
I could have went. I didn't go. I was too. I was.
Didn't believe.
I didn't think that Barcelona wasn't going to score.
Wow,
it's embarrassing. I know.
You know what? We had a podcast that just before that game, our weekly podcast because we're on with Blues as well. Our podcast is Reds and Blues. And the Blues are saying, it's game over, it's game over. And one of the other Red on ours, because there's three of each, Terry, he was adamant. He said, do not write us off. I don't care who it is, where Liverpool, don't write us off. And should have seen the smirk on his face the next podcast when he confirmed it.
Oh, mate, honestly, God, I just couldn't envisage that. It was unbelievable.
We were without Bobby and Mo as well, weren't we?
Yeah. But I just thought there's no way that Messi, Suarez are not going to get a goal. And then we're not going to score 5. And it's terrible that I thought like that, but it did. And I get really upset, especially Suarez coming back. It would have wound me up. So I chose not to go, which is still one of my biggest regrets, mate, to be honest.
I didn't have the Auto Cup in that season. And so I didn't have the Champions League games. I was obviously devastated when we were getting to further and further and further. When it got to that game, my brother, he had the Auto Cup. He had a holiday booked and he was like, if it's still in the balance, I'm not going on holiday, I'm going on the match. And obviously, when we got back, we were 3-0 down. He went away to Italy and gave me his ticket. So I ended up getting there on his ticket. He was devastated.
That's brilliant.
I was going to ask you what you thought was the better atmosphere. It's difficult. People are split on it.
Yeah. I've been told like the Barcelona one was better, which again devastates
hard to imagine.
Yeah. I went with the Barcelona game myself. Like I was at both, and I just think that Barcelona one, the noise was just unbelievable. It really was. It was like the old days where it wasn't just songs all the time. It was just sheer passion and shouting, and it was just remarkable. It really was.
Well, back to 2005, Ricky. Did you get to the Did you get to watch the final, or did you get to go to Istanbul? Or
no, so I was going away with the lads in Magaluf, my mates who grew up with. So again,
it's a good place to watch the final.
It was, mate. To be honest, someone sorted us out a pub, and it was just basically us there with a few of the Liverpoolian fans.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. Obviously, it would have been better to be there, but this was a close second, mate. I can't even begin to say some of the scenes, what was going on there, mate. It was unbelievable.
40 on a lad's holiday. That's a very close second. It is.
Magaluf is the standard lad's holiday as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we were swimming in the sea in that night, mate. To be honest, unbelievable.
So 2006 then, you go to Bristol on transfer deadline day. So I just had a few questions. I was curious how it all works when a deal goes through on deadline day. Like, are you aware that this club might, Bristol are looking at you, or does it all just happen out the blue at last minute?
I didn't have a clue about Bristol until 1 o'clock on deadline day. Yeah. Steve Parkman pulled me into his office and said, Bristol's coming for you. But I was in negotiations with Rochdale and we wasn't agreeing. So I think he kind of wanted some money for me before I just left for free. So he said, Bristol have come in. I suggest you go. Basically said that. Yeah. I was like Bristol. Okay. Like I said, I played against them the year before and I knew they were a big club.
Yeah.
And I knew they had potential. And I thought about it for a couple of hours. And the reason why I said yeah, I wasn't the most professional at Rochdale, to be honest, mate. I was over 16 stone. I was going out a few times a week. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't living a professional footballer's life, mate, by any means.
Yeah.
So when this came in, it did give me an opportunity to leave all that behind and move away from Liverpool.
So you lived in Liverpool when you were at Rochdale, and
yes, yeah, I lived in Mellon, McGull.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And like I said, I was out all the time, so this gave me an opportunity to try and get me head focused on football again more and give it a real go. Because when I was at Rochdale, because of what happened at Stockport, the dreams I had of playing in the Premier League, they'd gone. They'd gone by this point. So when Bristol came in, it was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll sort myself out and see where it gets me. So
yeah, went
to Bristol, moved within. Just thinking about it, 2-3 hours, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I remember negotiating on the motorway on the way down, and I couldn't get what I wanted, so I was like, right, I'm turning around, and I did. I literally turned around.
Yeah,
and he rang me back and said, right, you've got what you want. So I turned back around and went up to Bristol and signed.
What happened? Did he put you in a hotel so you can find a flat or something? Or
yeah, so I didn't sign till about 11:30. So they put me in a hotel up there with my agent.
Yeah,
and I just stayed there the night, and I think I had the next day off. Went home to get all my stuff, and then the next day I was training with them.
Yeah, so first season, did you get promoted?
First season we got promoted. I turned up unfit. I'd been injured in pre-season with Rochdale. I turned up unfit, mate, very unfit. Yeah. So I was terrible the first few months, mate, and I could tell the players were looking at me going, if we signed here, the fans were not getting on me back, but I could hear them moaning and groaning a little bit, which again was getting to me. And then we played the rivals, Bristol City, in the semi-finals at the JPT, and I scored the winner. So that was a massive lift. That kind of put all the fans on my side, just with one strike of the ball. And from then on, mate, my career just took off. My confidence started. My fitness by this point was there. And then the goal started to come then.
Yeah. Nothing better than the goal in the derby, though, is there?
No.
It must be grim going into this pre-season knowing like you're out of shape.
Mate, there's nothing worse for a professional footballer, and not everyone else will say the same, is getting injured in pre-season. It just puts you back. It takes you to about Christmas to get over it. Even if you're out for 2-3 weeks in the pre-season, it takes you a few months to get over it.
Yeah.
Because that's where your base is. And you can do all the base work by yourself away from them, but if you're not getting pushed with the other lads, then it takes a lot out of you that season.
Yeah, but the next season, then you really start to push on. Your top goal scorer, quite a few goals in the FA Cup, one against Southampton. Do you think that's the first time they've started paying attention to you then?
No, because the reason why I joined Southampton was Alan Pardew. Alan Pardew tried to sign me for Charlton. So he'd already noticed me. But I was at Rovers. No one was making firm offers for me, even after I scored 29 goals in the league. There was no offers. It wasn't until the beginning of the following season. Southampton came in. Again, League One. I was disappointed that no Championship clubs came in for me.
They'd just gone down, Southampton, though, hadn't they? They were a Championship club, but they'd just been relegated. Yeah.
So, being a Championship club and the size of it, they'd only just not long been out of the Premier League as well. Talking to Pardew, and the chairman as well, Nicola Cortese, it just felt natural, mate. It felt natural. I knew I was going to have to play again in League One, but I knew I was the best player in League One at this point. So I knew I was going to smash it the following season. But we had a 10-point deduction and we missed out on the playoffs by 1 point.
Yeah.
So we had to spend 2 seasons in League One, which again was disappointing, but it was one of the best things what happened to us, to be honest, because the core of players that we had got better and better, more familiar with each other. So when we actually did get promoted to the Championship, we were already one of the best teams in the Championship at this point. And as you can see, mate, we went straight up.
Because you personally, for Bristol there, you've scored 29 goals in your last season. You've scored 36 for Southampton the next season. So you're absolutely flying now, aren't you? But going into that season where you get promoted. You've touched on some of the players that you had in the squad. I know Lallana was one of them, Adam Lallana. Who else was there at that time?
But we had Jose Fonte, Morgan Sneijderlin, Oxlade-Chamberlain was coming through, 16, unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable. We had Jason Punchin.
Oh, yeah.
Palace. We had an unbelievable team, mate. Yeah. Unbelievable team. Jack Cork. Jack Cork. We had Luke Shaw again coming through, 16. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Ward Prowse was coming through. Billy Sharp was up front. We had David Connolly. We had an unbelievable team.
That's got to be one of the best youth setups in the country, if not the world, Southampton, hasn't it? You don't have to produce some players down there.
Yeah, no, it is, mate. It's special, and I seen it firsthand. It got changed a lot when I was there, to be fair. Les Reed changed a lot of it.
Yeah.
So even though the setup is one of the best setups you've ever seen, the people are not there, and the dynamics have changed from when they were bringing through all these players constantly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's inevitable going to take a little knock and change, but hopefully they can get back to getting these players back involved. Like,
yeah, I think as Liverpool fans, I think we hope so as well.
Yes. Comparisons to Matt Letizia started getting thrown about. Always a good compliment, that. No, you didn't like
mate.
that.
Yeah. So at first I was like, oh my word, because I think he was only 7, the number 7.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 12 and 17, and I was like, oh my God, I'm taking number 7. And I remember Pardew saying, I want you to take number 7. So I took it. So obviously started scoring the goals and a few early shouts of the new Matt Letizia, which I didn't like. Because it was a lot of pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Matt Letizia. He's only ever going to be one Matt Letizia.
Yeah.
But obviously, I grew into the top. To be honest, I did grow into the top, and I got more confident, and the relationship I had with the fans, mate, was incredible. To be honest, it was one of the best things I had in my football career.
Yeah.
And I became a whole different player. Do you know what I mean? They just pushed me on to be even better than I was, and I was flying, mate. I was proper fit at this time. I was an athlete, an animal. The amount of work I was doing in the gym before training, it was incredible. And like League One, even the Championship, I just found it dead easy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So you get promoted eventually. You're going into the Premier League. I think that was 2012, around that sort of time, wasn't it? At what point does Pochettino come in?
So yeah, he came in. So we got promoted to. So Pardew had 1 year, and then he got sacked. Nigel Atkins had 2 years, the 2 promotion years. Yeah. And then he got sacked halfway through the first season, which was 2012. And then Pochettino came in then.
Did you think that the sacking of Atkins was a bit harsh, or was it? Because he just, as you say, he got 2 consecutive promotions. You know, first year in the Premier League. You think you've got to give him the first year, see how he's developed, see how the team goes. And
mate, I was fuming. To be honest. I made it clear to the board as well. I was like, this is out of order, because we did struggle to begin with, but then we were starting to turn it around.
Yeah.
And I felt confident under Atkins we were going to be safe. So when they sacked him for Pochettino, who I didn't have a clue who he was, I was angry. I couldn't understand it. And it was unfair on Nigel, do you know what I mean? So I know football's like that, but I just didn't understand it at the time.
So when you're first coming into the Prem, as obviously newly promoted side, what is the target there? Are the board setting expectations, or is it the manager setting your expectations?
At Southampton, it was the manager and the players had an expectations, but the chairman, Nicola, he had his own, and Nicola wanted us to be Champions League. Do you know what I mean? But it was brilliant. As much as these certain aspects I didn't like of Nicola, his way of thinking pushed us on, to be honest, mate, and made us believe more than what we would do necessarily if it was just us. So it was brilliant, but he did like the Championship year, for instance, we didn't have a bonus outside the top 6, which we argued, but again, we didn't come out to the top. We didn't come out to the top 2 all season. So it was brilliant the way he mentally pushed you like that, and he was an important figure. But that season, we knew to stay. If we stayed in the league, that would be a success.
Yeah, quite visionary then, wasn't it? I mean, even bringing Pochettino in when no one thought the previous manager should have been sacked, actually it was the right move, wasn't it? As harsh as it is to say, do you know what I mean?
Mate, it was unbelievable. It didn't take us long to realise this manager is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was
he the best player?
Yeah, he's probably one of the best players as well. No, he used to do like head tennis and that, mate. He was unbelievable. His touch and that. It was brilliant.
One thing I just wanted to ask you then, so just from a normal lad's perspective, you get into the Prem and all of a sudden you're on Sky, Super Sunday, match of the day every week. Is that mad? You're telling your mates, I'm on telly this Sunday and all that. Yeah. Obviously, you get a bit of that in the Championship, don't you? But to a different level.
Yeah, so you're obviously on the odd game, but when you get to the Premier League, mate, it's just a whole new, like you said, it's a whole new level. The first game, we were away to Man City. They just won the league. And it was incredible. Scored my first goal in the Premier League against them.
Yeah, on your debut, yeah.
Yeah, just like you said, mate, it was just a whole different level. The amount of lorries round the stadium increased, and it was brilliant, mate. I absolutely loved it. I was at the right age. Physically, I was ready. Mentally, I was ready. I just thrived in it, mate, to be honest. It was everything I'd been waiting for. Like my whole career, like going up the leagues and then to play in the Premier League was brilliant.
I can only imagine, yeah. What about the fame and all that, Ricky? Like, obviously now you get noticed all the time. How did you handle that? Was it tough or easy or what?
Yeah. So in Southampton, I was always recognised. I lived in Southampton, so I came accustomed to that. But when it got into the Premier League, like in the Championship, no one knew me in Liverpool, and I used to come home to Liverpool, and I could go out, and like no one would know who I was, and outside Southampton, no one knew.
Yeah.
But when I got to the Premier League, mate, yeah, everyone knew that. And even like coming to Liverpool, and like they were people from other countries coming up to you, and it did change quite a lot. But it didn't bother me, mate. I would always try and give people time. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I was, like I said, I was in the right frame of mind. I got to the Premier League at the right age. Maybe if I got there too young, it might have went to my head. But at this time, mate, fame didn't bother me at all, to be honest. It wasn't affecting me football anyway.
Yeah. So you've done it the hard way, haven't you? You've started at the bottom, and then you're basically at the top. And what a story! And I think people like that sort of a story. I think, and it endears you to people. So I was just wondering if you felt that kind of affection where people could sort of identify with you, and as a normal lad who's kind of living a dream.
The first time I got that feeling, and because up until I played for England and I scored, I always felt like people were against me, the media's against me. And even if they wasn't, probably wasn't, but I used to use it as a mental tool. It wasn't until I scored for England and I seen the aftermath of it, that I could see even fans from all different clubs around the country, like they were made up I scored, and like you said, and they loved the journey. They could see someone in me making it, and to get the break and then to score the goal. And it blew me away, that, to be honest, because I'd gone from not getting any recognition, not getting any love, then to having the whole country love you and be happy for you. So that was a big change. That like I said, that blew me away. That.
Yeah, amazing. So like you're in the Prem now and you're banging them in, basically, aren't you? You're scoring goals in the.
You touched on your first goal there. Obviously, your debut game type thing against Man City, you scored, and that put you in a select camp of a few players who'd scored in every division of England, the top 4 divisions. That's some achievement to say you've done that, because as I said, there's not many who have. Yeah,
mate. To be honest, I couldn't believe the emotions I went through when I scored that goal against City. It was incredible. It was one of just the England goal beats it. To be honest, is one of the best moments in my career. It took 12, 13 years to get to that point, and then to score. I was on the bench to believe it or not, which I was fuming with. But that goal helped me go on and be a success that season. The first goal is always the hardest, so to get it after 2 minutes after coming off the bench, I was just that was me gone, mate. I knew I was just going to go and do what I'd been doing in the Championship. It was the step up is different. Don't get me wrong. It's the biggest step up out of all the steps. But I knew I was still good enough to score and help the team and be a dominant force, which I was in the lower leagues. We built a team at this point where we had some great players, mate. And like I said, we still had the same core. So I knew I was gonna do well that season. And like I said, I've been waiting for it for all them years.
You scored past some of the top teams as well, didn't you? It wasn't just, you weren't just picking goals up against like the relegation strugglers. It was, you've notched against Man City, Chelsea, Man United, all the top teams of the league you scored against as well.
Yeah, mate, the Man United one was one of the best.
It was.
I remember just leading up to it all week thinking, I hope I score against these. I hope I score against them. And like going to bed thinking, back post header, back post. I knew they had small full-back, so I just thought, pull off the centre-back, get on a full-back, and then first half, 20 minutes in, bang, header, back post. just running away to the fans, mate. It was incredible. I'm gutted it didn't go the other way to the Man United fans, but it's probably best it didn't.
Yeah.
You could end your career there, couldn't you? A goal against Man U and be happy. But what are your aspirations at this point? Are you just thinking, I need to keep this dream alive as long as I can? Or are you thinking, aye, one of the big boys might come walking at me here? You know?
No. I had no intention of leaving Southampton, to be honest, mate.
Yeah.
I was hoping to retire. I wasn't even thinking England at this point.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was just concentrating on doing well for Southampton and scoring, and hopefully, like I said, keeping Southampton in the Premier League until I retired. That was what was in my head at that point.
Yeah.
You say there you're not even thinking about England, but obviously during that, I think is it your final season at Southampton, you get the call. Well, at what point did you know that they were even thinking of calling you up?
There'd been a few squads before that, mate, and he didn't pick me, even though they only had one or two strikers in the squad. So I kind of gave up that I was going to get called, and then my wife Amy went into to have our third child, Bella. So I was there obviously all night, didn't get no sleep. Went to bed, woke up, and had 150 missed calls, messages, and I was like, what in the AF's got? I didn't even know England was naming a squad, to be honest, mate. Turned the telly on, and my face was all over Sky Sports. Saying I've been called up to the England squad. That was obviously how I found out I was in the England squad, mate, to be honest.
So you never even got the phone call, it was just turned on Sky Sports, and oh my God, I'm in the England squad.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think they told our manager before it went live, but obviously I turned my phone off or put on silent because I got my head down, and so he was trying to call me to tell me, but I was fast asleep.
Is this the squad that's going to go to Brazil? You're talking about?
No. This was a year before the Brazil squad.
Yeah.
This was against Scotland, which was a big game.
Yeah.
It was the first game against Scotland for a long time, wasn't it? And you didn't waste any time in getting your name on the score sheet.
Yeah. So I didn't know whether I was there as a token. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh well, he's done well, so we've got to invite him to a squad. I wasn't sure whether it was that or they generally believed in my talents, but I knew in my head I was going to make a mark. Do you know what I mean? I knew I needed to make a mark. Gary Neville said I was going to get at least 20 minutes, which I was buzzing with. And I knew that's all I needed, mate. I didn't think it was going to be with my first touch, but I knew I was going to score. I knew I was going to score the day before, to be honest. Like I said, it just turned out to be brilliant.
That's what goal scorers are like, isn't it? They just know if they're going to get that one chance, it's going in, and they've got that confidence. But I don't think I've seen many better headers than that. That was
that's the best one I've caught. That's the best one I've caught, mate. I normally catch them good from coming the other way, but coming from that way, I just caught it perfect, exactly where I wanted it to go. And like I said, running away, like to celebrating with Frank Lampard, mate, it was incredible. Yeah. Like I looked up to these players: Frank Lampard, Stevie G, Ashley Cole, and then I'm playing with them, and then I've just scored the winning goal against Scotland. It was incredible, mate. My face couldn't control the emotions going through it. It was like my muscles were all twitching, and it was weird, mate. It was so strange. I just couldn't handle it for about an hour, even after the game, just sitting there and everyone coming up to you, congratulating you. It was hard to keep the emotions in. I just
couldn't play it cool. It was just, I'm this excited.
Yeah, mate. God knows what I look like to them. My eyes must have been going everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But I can just remember sitting in the dressing room and just thinking, this is like, wow, this is incredible. This is better than a dream. This is better than a dream. I just couldn't have wished it to have gone any better.
I can think of scoring a winning goal at dinner time and going off me. I can't even begin to imagine what it must have felt like. So, what's the step up like when you go to training with England? Then are you just thinking, Jesus?
Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah. So obviously, I'm used to every step now. So I've gone from League 2 to League 1 to Championship to the Premier League, and there's a step up. But the step up to international, especially England at this point, I could add Stevie, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Sturridge. It was the first day of training. I was gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked, mate, because it was so fast. Technically, it was unbelievable. It was brilliant. And every time I've stepped up, I've always thought, and I said this in an interview the other week. It's hard to explain, but because of my mental strength, especially later on at Southampton, and it didn't matter what players they brought in at Southampton. I knew I could be better than them, or if I wasn't better than them, then I would do training or I would improve myself to be better than them, if that makes sense. But when I seen these train, I just like stood there and I was like, there's no amount of I could train for 1,000,000 years and I will never ever be anywhere close to these players. It was like they were special. It was a gift. Do you know what I mean? Like all us have to work hard every day to get anywhere close to them. But these just, like I said, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, and Wayne Rooney, them four especially, was just unbelievable, mate, to be honest. I had never seen that ability before. Not close up.
They're arguably the four best players in their positions as well, aren't they? So I'm not surprised you felt like that, to be fair.
Yeah, but so you know it, and I knew it going in, but to see it like close up and seeing them like doing dummies to each other, 1-2s, and like little touches, and it was incredible. I was blown away, but I was blown away in a good way. I wasn't, like I said, I was at the age where I was like, I want to be a part of this as long as I can, because this is unbelievable. And I knew I had to show them I deserve to be there. Do you know what I mean? Because every player goes in, you have to prove yourself, not only to the manager but to the players as well. And I'd done well, mate. I'd done well in the training, and obviously I scored my goal at Scotland, so it gave me a little bit of breathing space. I went into the next game against Moldova, and I scored one and set 2 up, and we won 4-0, and that was one of my best performances. And then I could tell the lads had confidence in me that I could step up if like Wayne wasn't playing, or they knew I had ability. I could feel their confidence in me, and which made me feel like 8 foot tall. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant.
Yeah, that must be a great feeling to have, as you say, the players of their calibre, knowing they can rely on you. That's some feeling, that.
Yeah, no, it was, mate. It was incredible. I loved it.
Right, Ricky, we're getting to it. So, Liverpool, you get the call one day, I imagine. What's happening there?
Mate, so my life for about a year now had been unbelievable. I've been playing for England for a year. I'd just got promoted to the Premier League. So I was on the crest of a wave, mate. It was incredible. And then obviously the phone call, Liverpool want you. It was like, what? This is, what are you effing messing me? It was incredible, mate. And as much as I was made up, it was like, oh my word, I'm going to have to tell Southampton I want to go to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, oh shit. But there was no way, like when I heard it was legitimate and he was actually going to go in for me, and it was one of them, like, is Southampton going to let me go? And I'd sent a message, and I did say to them, listen, this is my childhood club. I've loved them all my life. I'd never thought I'd play for them ever again. And please let me go, basically. Please accept the offer. Please let me go. And they sent me a nice message back saying, listen, we understand and we would never stand in your way, especially with Liverpool. And I ended the move came, and I tried to move as good as I could, and I did. But the joy, mate, and the excitement of joining Liverpool, because I was going to the World Cup at this point, so it was the end of the season. It was literally just as the season ended, they signed me. So I had all the summer, but I was going into the World Cup, so I knew after the World Cup I was going to play for Liverpool, which, again, I had the World Cup to look forward to, and then Liverpool after that. So it was an incredible time of my life, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that myself. It was got written down myself here. The 12th of May, you get picked for the England squad to go to Brazil. The 2nd of June, you sign for your boyhood club. There must have just been a moment you get home, sit in the armchair in the house and just think, wow, what's going on here?
yeah, that it was, mate, and that phone call, my agency sitting down, and I went, why, go on? He went, Liverpool coming in for you. It was, mate, it was one of them. It was like telling your dad, it was, Dad, guess what? it's incredible. Yeah, he told him to go somewhere as well, do you know what I mean? He didn't believe it. So it was surreal, mate, but them 2 years were surreal. Everything I touched turned to gold. I was on fire on the pitch, and I was getting the recognition from the right people. And obviously, when then Brendan Rodgers comes in for you, and it was incredible, mate. It was incredible.
So you end up getting on the plane to Brazil before you even train with Liverpool. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that must be special. You go into Brazil, you got all the setup, getting looked after over there, and training with the lads in the sun and all that. That must be amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, mate. It was absolutely amazing. It was 7 weeks, I think. I think we went to Portugal first, then we went to America, and then we went to Brazil.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. I loved every second of it. Playing in some famous ground in America, and then getting to Brazil and seeing the atmosphere in Brazil. It was obviously, it was tainted, mate, because we went out in the group stage, and I still to this day I don't know how we've gone out.
Yeah.
We were way better in Italy. We got beat by Italy, mate, and we should never have got beat by Italy.
Yeah.
But Uruguay, they were probably better than us or on par, and they beat us. The game what killed us was Italy, and then we're out. Just after 2 games like that, you're out. Everything what you've been leading up to as a squad, and then after 2 games, you're out, mate. It was absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
It was so heartbreaking, mate. It was so hard to take.
Must have made it a bit easier, though, knowing you were going back to play for Liverpool, though.
Yeah. No, it did. It was obviously, that was always in my mind, even before the World Cup. It was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to go to Liverpool. Cannot wait to go and train at Melwood.
Did you take every opportunity you could to talk to the likes of Gerrard and say us and we, and instead of using them and Liverpool?
Yeah, so I mean, I was starting like bond with Stevie even before I joined Liverpool and Henderson. So obviously when Liverpool joined, like, Stevie came up to me and shook my hand and went, I made up for you, mate. I think you'll do well for us. And he was brilliant, do you know what I mean? But he was brilliant. Stevie was brilliant with me the day I walked into England. Like, came over to me and just like reassured me, and he was brilliant like that, Stevie. So when I joined Liverpool, it didn't shock me again that he was trying to reassure me again, and it was brilliant.
Everyone says that about Steven Gerrard. Shows his leadership qualities off the pitch, doesn't it? He's like, he really took on that responsibility to make sure he got the best out of everyone off the pitch.
Yeah. He's not the one. He can do it where he'll stand in the middle and he'll do a big speech and he can do that, but Stevie's way is that he'll go round and he'll put an arm around your shoulder and he'll tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And then he'll go to someone else and he'll do the same. That's Stevie's way, and it was brilliant the way he does it, mate. To be fair, because you feel, like I said, you feel 10 foot tall when he talks to you, and he's telling you what to do, and it's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, be amazing. So, yeah, do you think that you're coming into play maybe alongside or sometimes with Suarez, or did you know he was going to get off at this point? Were you privy to that?
So I spoke to Brendan, and I think he said Suarez was going, but they're going to bring in Sanchez. So he said it's going to be you, Sanchez, and Sturridge, and we might bring in someone else. So I was made up. I kind of knew I was coming in to be behind Sturridge and Sanchez.
Yeah.
Which maybe looking back I shouldn't have done, to be honest. Maybe because my mental strength was one of my strengths was my mental strength. So the second I acknowledged and accepted being behind someone, obviously I already started losing a bit of myself. But
you've never done that, have you?
Never done it, mate. Never done it, but it was Liverpool. So it was like, this is amazing. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, yeah, landed off the plane, and I think Brendan gave me 4 or 5 weeks off, like everyone else. One of the worst decisions I've ever done in my life, and especially with Liverpool, is that I went back after 2 weeks. I went on holiday for 10 days. Came back, and then I went to train with Liverpool with the kids, because the kids were in, and like Lucas and a few of the experienced players were in from the beginning. And I wanted to hit the ground running that much that I went and trained with them, because I wanted to be as fitter than I've ever been.
That makes sense.
So I thought it was the right decision, and then pre-season started, and I was starting. I think we played Preston, and I just remember thinking, "Whoa!" I felt terrible, mate. I felt absolutely terrible, but didn't think nothing of it. I just thought I was a bit rusty, and then went to America, and again playing in the game just didn't feel sharp, mate. Didn't feel sharp, and then it was starting to dawn on me. I should have took a bigger break. Do you know what I mean? I should have had a couple of more weeks off, and rested my body. But again, it didn't bother me that much. I was like, it'll come back. It'll come back.
So what is it? Heavy legs, stiff muscles, like?
Yeah, like heavy legs, but like the little explosiveness, like bullying people, and it just didn't feel there. Not as much as I wanted it to. Not as much as like I've been on fire now for like a few years, so I knew what I was capable of.
Yeah,
I just couldn't get up to that level. But again, it was weeks and weeks before the season, so I wasn't that worried.
Yeah.
I was just made up to be playing. I was just made up to be in and amongst Liverpool players. Do you know what I mean? And Brendan, it was brilliant. I loved it. The trip to America was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was hard work.
Well, Rickie, you gave us a bit of an exclusive there. I mean, it's not uncommon knowledge that we wanted Sanchez, but I don't know if I've ever heard it confirmed like that. Do you know anything about why that didn't happen? Did he just want London?
The rumour that went round was that it was his missus wanted London.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I think that might have been the truth, to be honest. But when Brendan spoke to me, he was confident he was getting him.
Yeah.
Very confident. So something's happened at the last minute that he's chose Arsenal, because I think they had an agreement. I don't know what kind of an agreement. And he was some player at this time, wasn't he, to be honest?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it would have been a great signing for Liverpool. Whether I was signing for Liverpool or not, I was thinking, what a signing that would be. Well, devastating that we were losing Louis, but I was thinking myself that would be a great replacement for him. But that didn't happen. And it just happened to be that I was the replacement for Louis. So, I mean, so that was hard.
Yeah,
that was hard. And so the season started anyway. And I think Mario came in at this point just before the season started. And I hadn't had a good pre-season, mate. I was a little bit, oh God, I haven't given Brendan the good first impressions here. Do you know what I mean? I missed the pen. I missed the bloody pen, for fuck's sake. Scored 34 on the trot. And then the first one for Liverpool, fucking miss it. So that was like, oh my word.
Yeah.
But it did not phased me at this point, mate, to be honest. It was like, when I get my chance, I'll prove to everyone. I'll prove to the gaffer that he was right in signing me. So I think I started sub against Southampton, came on, done okay.
Was that a weird feeling? Your first game?
Yeah, mate. Do you know when the fixtures come out? I just had a feeling it's going to be Southampton at Anfield. I just knew it was going to be Southampton, and then it came out, and I was like, I told you, Southampton. So that was weird, mate, because I was getting clapped by Southampton fans.
Yeah, because you and obviously Lallana came at the same time, and Lovren, but you've got completely different receptions when you from their fans, didn't you? It was they did not like him whatsoever.
Yeah. See, I was gutted with ads. Lovren didn't care. Do you know what I mean? He's only been at Southampton for a year, but ads, he loves Southampton, so he was devastated by the response. I didn't think I think it was the way he left, which the Southampton fans didn't like. He pushed it through, and they think he pushed it through and stuff like that. But I knew what Southampton meant for ads, so I was devastated for ads. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was weird because I was going into the game thinking, what do I do if I score? What do I do? Because it's my first goal for my boyhood club. But it's against the team what made me, what has literally gave me everything. And I love the fans to death.
They made it possible for you to be at Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. So what on earth do I do if I score? So I think I would celebrate it, to be honest. There's no way.
I was going to say, there's not a chance you're holding that emotion in.
I've shown respect to all my old clubs when I've scored against them. But there's no way I could have been able to keep the emotion in if I scored at Anfield.
From what you said about your Scotland goal, Ricky, it sounds like it probably wasn't up to you. what you had no control over.
Yeah, no, it would have just come out, mate. There's no way you could have held something like that in. There's no way. Yeah. Obviously, it didn't score, but we won 2-1, and it went well. Yeah, and then I think, and then Mario came in, second game against Tottenham, was it? And Mario came into the club, so I was a little bit surprised because was he in front of me because I knew Sanchez was going to be in front of me. Is Mario going to be in front of me? Because I was thinking I was better than Mario. To be honest, I knew Mario had played for unbelievable clubs and stuff like that. But what I'd done for 2 years in Southampton, in the 2 years in the Premier League, I thought I was at my peak, and I was like, no, I'll prove myself and I'll get myself in front of Mario. So Mario started anyway, and he done well. Every time Mario played, he tried his best, mate. But it was just, things started to sneak in training, which I was just not only me baffled by, it was the players like around me as well. It was like, for instance, like he was in a squad, he was in the team, and we're doing corners against, and Brendan puts him in a position on the front corner of the box to head it away, and Mario just went, no, I'm not standing there. And I just went, what did he just say? And he went, no, I'm not standing there. So it just blew my mind. obviously got to this point in my career, and then I've got these a player at my club who I loved talking to a manager like that. It just blew me away, and his persona on the training pitch wasn't what it should have been. Off the training pitch, he was a nice lad, like infectious, a bit childish, like, but a really lovely person.
Yeah. But you know what?
Don't want to be nasty.
I think we as fans, me certainly, picked up on that a little bit, because even though we knew that's what, we heard all the rumours coming out the club that and where he's been as well. He's been at Man City, he's been at Milan and things, and the same sort of stories came out about him on the training pitch. He wasn't interested in put the work in the way most players do, and what most players should. But I just couldn't help but like him, and it was one of them. You sort of willed him to do well, because he was just that type of character where when he's like one of them. If he doesn't play for you, you hate his guts and you think he's horrible. Like similar to like Suarez, when he plays for you, you're willing him to be that horrible person where everyone else hates, and you want them to do well. So for me, it was weird with Balotelli, because he was so frustrating as a player, but I couldn't help but like him.
I think his laziness started to creep in on the pitch as well, though, and we were getting frustrated with him.
Eventually, he did, yeah.
Yeah, but like what you're saying there, Ricky, though, by Rodgers picking him, it's giving out a message to the squad, isn't it? That I didn't think Rodgers would have. He doesn't seem the type of player.
See, that's what kind of knocked me, to be honest, and it knocked my confidence a little bit. And I remember going into Brendan and saying, like, "Why are you playing Mario in front of me?" But I'm just getting my side of the story out there. I believed I should have been playing. And I just saying, is the way he trains, and I just couldn't get it.
It's completely alien to what you've ever seen before.
Yeah, it would have affected me if he was playing and he wasn't in my position. But the fact that he was in my position, it just messed with me head a little bit more. And then I think Brendan did get on top of it, and he stopped playing him. And then I think I got a run in then. After a few games, I had played 6 games on the run, and scored. I think my first one was Crystal Palace away, and I scored, but we lost 3-1. It wasn't a good performance, but I was made up to get off the mark. And then we went to Ludogorets away, was it? And 2-2. I think I scored again.
Yeah.
So I was starting to, like, my confidence was starting to come again now, and I was like, here we go. I was starting to get going again then.
I was going to say, Barini was there then, wasn't he? Because didn't he score against Ludogorets? Fabio Barini, or am I getting mixed up?
Do you know what? I don't know who scored. I think it was Henderson who scored the other goal at Ludogorets.
Yeah.
It might have been Barini. I'm not sure. I don't think Barini played in that game. I might be wrong, but I don't think he was involved in at this stage of the season. Barini started coming in a bit later.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got the run anyway, and I was doing okay, even though the results wasn't there. Then we played Stoke, I think, the 3rd game at home, and I done a header. I hit the underside of the bar in the last few minutes. Glenn Johnson ran in and scored. I think that was the closest I came to scoring at Anfield. I was gutted it didn't go in, but I was doing okay. And then the 4th game, so I was playing Saturday, Tuesday, 90 minutes, made up, finally getting a chance. And then the 4th game, I can't remember who we played, but I didn't play that well. I can't remember how we got on. And then the 5th game was, I think that was Ludogorets again at home in the Champions League, and I was terrible, mate. To be honest, that was one of my worst games. I felt terrible in myself, body-wise. And we were 1-0 down at half-time. And we needed to win. So we needed 2 goals. And Brendan brought me off. And I remember just thinking, oh, my word. I remember putting my hands on my head and thinking, oh, my God, I've ruined it. I've ruined my chance at Liverpool. Because I was terrible, mate, to be honest. And I deserved to get brought off. I couldn't control a bag of cement in that game. And then it slowly started getting worse after that. Made me confidence just like at Liverpool. It's a fierce atmosphere, and it's different. It was different to anything I've ever seen. Like the size of the club, it does affect you, mate. And I needed to hit the ground running, and there was a lot of combinations, mate, that just didn't mix well. I could see the shock in the lads that Louis wasn't there, and the disappointment in the faces that obviously I'm in the team or Mario's in the team, and not that they didn't appreciate me, but it was, from what they were used to, I could see the difference. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't probably the right type of player for some of the players in the team, for like Coutinho or Sterling. With my pace, I obviously had no pace, so I couldn't break the line, and I could see it was affecting some of the players. And so,
I was going to say, like Rodgers, he was known for having an intense high press. He started that, kind of what Klopp does now. He kind of started that, and I imagine that most of the teams you've played for, you've kind of played at a style that to get the best out of you. Like, how do we play to get the best out of Rickie Lambert? And when you've gone into the Liverpool team there, it's not about you. Like, you've got to fit into the way Rodgers wants to play, and it's alien to the way you've played your whole career. Like, that's how it's a weird fit.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And I wasn't a part of a high pressing game until Pochettino came in. So at Southampton, I was a part of that pressing, very much like Liverpool. Yeah, okay. And it worked well. It did work well, but for some reason, I don't think he thought I could do it at Liverpool because I had no pace. But it wasn't so much Brendan, to be honest, mate. It was my performances. I had a few chances and I didn't take them. Normally they're in the back of the net, mate. And if they go in, the fans are on my side. My confidence is a lot higher. But I was missing them or scuffing them, and I wasn't controlling the ball like I normally could. So it was my own performances why I was put pressure on myself. Normally I thrive in them situations and I prove to people that I'm good enough for them situations. On this occasion, I come up short, mate, to be honest. And it was after the sixth game, the ludicrous game, that Brendan came to me and said, Crystal Palace, do you want to go to Crystal Palace on loan? And I was devastated. I think this was in December, or like when January opens, Crystal Palace will be there, and I was like, no, I'm not going. And then he didn't play me then. I think he changed the system. He put Sterling up top.
Yeah,
I think he played 3 at the back. And to be fair, mate, it worked. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was. I knew I'd missed my chance, to say the least. I didn't do good enough.
Goal scoring it's massively about confidence, isn't it? Like, if you look at quality players who come to Liverpool, like Robbie Keane, Fernando Morientes, they missed a few chances early on, and then they couldn't seem to score. And even though they've been prolific before and after, like yourself, so it's like it just shows. And you know, when Fernando Torres went from the best player in the world to couldn't hit a banjo with a banjo, it just shows you, though, doesn't it, how much confidence and like how much scoring one goal and momentum matters as a striker. And as you say in there, got a couple of, and probably what led to you having underperforming, under your own standard performances in the beginning. From what you're telling us, it seems like you're a player who, like, your fitness to be there, to be sharp, you need to be playing. You need to be playing regular. Otherwise, your fitness is going to dip quicker than maybe other players, going by what you've said so far. Would that be fair?
Yeah, no, it's a fair point, mate. Because Liverpool were playing Saturday, Tuesday every week, which again I wasn't used to, and in high pressure games, there wasn't time, if you're not playing, to get a lot of fitness working, because you need to be ready in case you're playing or you're on the bench to come on. So yeah, no, it was definitely a factor in it that I couldn't get my fitness up. And I do believe that break I had, or the lack of break in pre-season, killed me. It killed me. I needed my body to relax. I'd never had a season like that the season before.
Yeah.
Played that many games and then go to a World Cup. I do believe that 2 weeks break killed me. Because again, what was that? Sorry.
I was going to say, did Gerrard sort of put an arm around you during this time, and did you have some of the lads in the squad?
Yeah, so I remember the Ludogorets game, to be honest. Again, when he pulled me off at half time, I just sat there with my head in my hands, and they were going out, and Stevie came over and just tapped me on the back of the head and just said, "Keep your head up, don't worry about it." Because I let the team down, do you know what I mean? And not only did I let the team down, I let my team down, Liverpool. So it was even extra hard to take, to be honest. And realising that your dream was turning into a nightmare slowly, mate, I can't even begin to explain it. I haven't explained it to anyone, mate, to be honest, because for the first few years I couldn't talk about it to anyone. To anyone, it was hard to handle.
Yeah.
I always think the best, and always thought I could get back into the team and just bide me time. But I could tell there was no coming back. And even though I got a few glimpses of football throughout the season after this point, and I knew that my chance had come and gone, because it's Liverpool. If it was another club, then I would have got back in. But a team like Liverpool, you're not going to get back in. They've got too much money. They've got too many good players. The competition's too fierce. I had my chance, and I let it slip, and it was hard. It was hard to accept.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. At this time, then, Daniel Sturridge, is he getting injured every week at this point?
Daniel's Sturridge was a hard one. I don't know what was going on. But as a playmate, he's one of the best players I've ever played with. But yeah, he seemed to be getting injured, and I don't know whether Brendan was questioning him. Yeah, or the fitness team was questioning him, or stuff like that, because he didn't seem happy sometimes. But whenever he got onto the pitch, mate, like I said, he was unbelievable, whether he was fully fit or not. One of the best players I've ever seen. But he did seem to pick up a lot of injuries. Like I said, I don't know whether that was mental or whether it was something wrong with the treatments he was getting. But he just couldn't seem to get rid of certain problems that he was having physically, which was a shame, because, like I said, mate, he was unbelievable.
I was a massive fan of Sturridge, massive. When he left, I felt sad. Some people were like, "Oh, it was time for him to go. Glad to see the back of him and all that." And I just felt sad that his career panned out at Liverpool, panned out the way it did, because he was so good, and he could have been so much more than he was, couldn't he?
He showed that most places he went though as well, didn't he? Because even when we had a spell at Bolton early on, and he was just scored for fun there, and he had the little chance that he got at Chelsea, he still scored goals there. And then when he came to Liverpool, he was only second top goal scorer behind Suarez, who was a strike partner. And it was, he was that player who he could just score out of nothing. But as you say, I think I was one of them, Phil, who when he did go, I was thinking it is his time to go, because you can't have someone there who's just not going to be playing.
Yeah, it was a hard one with me, mate, because I loved him as a player. I thought he was brilliant, and I think we did see the best of him, which I'm happy to say that. And I seen him at England, mate, and the combinations he had with some of the players was unbelievable. The way he left, I don't know. I didn't feel sorry for him, to be fair, because, like I said, we've seen the best of him. Yeah, and that's all you can wish for. That's all you can wish for. Like,
He had one season. Yeah,
like people were saying stuff about his contract, and he deserved that contract.
Yeah,
he was one of the best strikers in the league. He deserved that contract. He was incredible. So it didn't work out in the last year or so. But even though he's still coming on, and he was scoring some important goals for Klopp.
Yeah,
Very important goals. I just think it was a massive success his time at Liverpool, mate. I can't see anything other than that. It could have been better.
That's all. Unfulfilled potential.
Yeah, it could have been better, but he was one of the best players I've ever seen, mate, to be honest. So
yeah,
I can only think of Sturridge as a success at Liverpool.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, Jordan, Jordan that season where obviously it wasn't the greatest success in the league for us, but at some point, I think it was January, Gerrard announces he's leaving the club at the end of the season. Did that come out with the players first? Was you given long to sort of process that before it was out in the media, and how was that for the club?
Yeah, so that was a shock to the lads, that, mate. To be honest, I can't remember whether there was a meeting before or it just came out in the news. I can't remember, but I can just remember the lads being shocked because he was still one of the best players in the top 3 players at Liverpool, to be honest. He was Steven Gerrard, so it shocked me, mate. I just thought he was going to retire at Liverpool and then become the manager. That's what I thought. So it didn't make sense to me, mate, and still doesn't make sense to me to this day.
Ricky, was it that season we went to play Real Madrid and he didn't play? Was that 2015?
He was in the stand with me, mate. Yeah.
Was the murder over there?
His head fell off. But it wasn't just that game. I think the game I can remember Stevie being the most frustrated was Man United at home. He was on the bench, and I was on the bench with him, and he was like, he was like a caged animal, mate. He was kicking every ball. If someone wouldn't put a tackle in, he was screaming from the bench.
And there was plenty of that day, wasn't there? Pulling out.
Yeah.
There was a bit too much of it.
Yeah, so he was. I could tell he was fuming. He was on the bench for that game. So when he came on at half time, it didn't surprise me that he got sent off within 30 seconds.
2 foot. Yeah.
It didn't surprise me because he was so wound up. He was so wound up, mate. So obviously that first tackle comes in, mate, and obviously he makes a wrong decision. But I can understand why.
Yeah. No, definitely. He was trying to show everyone this is the standard. This is what we need, type of thing. But obviously, as you say, emotion got the best of him. So you can see though that the relationship there, he's starting to feel underappreciated, isn't he, and all that. So you can see it breaking down on the inside, close up.
Yeah. So he's starting to. He's not playing as much as he wants, mate. And even though Stevie and Brendan got on brilliant, mate. To be honest, they were brilliant. Stevie loved Brendan, and he would lead by example. Anything that Brendan put on, Stevie would lead by example in the training sessions. And Brendan's training sessions were spot on. They were good sessions. So I didn't think there was any problem there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any problem. So that's why it came so much as a shock that he was leaving.
Speaks to how professional he is, though, doesn't it? He's hurting inside, but you didn't know, like on the, didn't see it on the pitch, because I've seen players like, I'll name them, Torres, and a couple of players, when it didn't start going their way, they were full of sulk, and you could see it written all over the face on the pitch and stuff like that. Yeah. You never seen that from Gerrard. He might have been hurting, but he never showed it.
No, never, mate. Especially in training, he was always. The thing with Stevie, the hardest thing with Stevie is standards are so high, and if you're on his team in training, you better be on it. You better be on it, mate, because he'll let you know if you're off the pace.
Yeah.
And that's what's so good about Stevie, mate. He keeps his levels every day, every day in every session. And it just, like I said, that's why Henderson's so good now. Because he's seen the levels Stevie got to. And he was following Stevie, and it was a pleasure to play with Stevie. It was at the back end of his career, but mate, he was still unbelievable. Some of the stuff I've seen him do in training was incredible.
I've seen videos come out of him while he's been Rangers manager, taking part in their training sessions, and I think he's probably still the best player up there.
Mate, without a doubt, mate, he could still play. He could still play in the Premier League, I think. And I'm not messing.
Are you talking about like the way he was, his accuracy in his passing and his shooting and stuff?
Yeah.
Or
his shooting and his passing, mate. It was incredible. Some of the goals he could score.
Yeah,
it was incredible. And like we used to do free kicks after training, and I've always been good at free kicks, always.
Yeah.
But again, you get to certain levels, mate, and you're just like, wow,
really?
Wow. It's just the whip and the pace,
the
technique, and it's the consistency. It was the consistency what shocked me.
Yeah.
It was all the time. He would hit the top corner. It was brilliant, mate. Like I said, and it was brilliant to be around. It would have been. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like at his prime to be around him in his prime, mate. To be honest.
05, 07. That's
well,
it.
I don't know whether you've heard it. Peter Crouch got his own podcast and that now. And I've heard him talking about when he joined Liverpool, and he said he got on the training pitch and the first ball Gerrard put into him, he said it came at him 100 miles an hour. And he said the look from Gerrard was like, you better control that. He said it was just that's when he knew this is another level.
Yeah. No, that's it, mate. His passing, mate, he pings them passes into you. And like I said, not just the passing, mate, everything. You know, especially if you're on his team, you have to control that ball. And if he puts you in, you've got to put it in the back of the net. He's on another level, mate, to be honest. He's on another level to anyone I've ever seen. Yeah. And that's why he's probably one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah. And also, you mentioned before about the weight of playing for your hometown club and carrying that pressure on your shoulders. No one's carried that more than him. So it makes what he's done even more special for me. It's even harder to do it under those circumstances, isn't it?
Mate, it is. It's unbelievable. I can't say. Like I said, I didn't understand the size of Liverpool and the pressure of Liverpool player until I joined Liverpool. So for someone to do what Stevie done, especially in some of the games I can think of, like you said, from 2004 to 2009, like 2010, mate, he was the best player in the world. He was unbelievable, the best defender and the best attacker. It was incredible.
Stupid.
He didn't get the recognition he deserved, mate, to be honest. I was saying that at the time. I was Stevie not getting player of the year. It was incredible because Frank Lampard was like him, very similar. And Frank Lampard shocked me how good he was when I was at England. Yeah. Because, mate, his all-round game was unbelievable. Yeah. But I would say Stevie was on top of him just because of his defensive work was incredible as well. I've never seen that from a player who's so good defensive and so good attacking as well.
You could put him in 10 positions on that pitch and he'd be the best player in the league in the position. That's why he's so good.
He played about 4 positions in Istanbul, didn't he?
Yeah. Rickie, while I've got you on, something that all my mates take the mick out of me for a little bit is how much I love Adam Lallana and how much I rate him as a player. Now, I've heard you talk about him on another podcast, so I just want you to back me up. You know, I want the world to hear it firsthand from a man who knows best, who's been with him for many, many years. So tell me I'm right, Rickie.
Mate, the best compliment I can give Adam is that he's the second best player I've ever played with, behind Coutinho. And I thought he was always going to be the best player. He's unbelievable, mate. I can't even begin to say how good he was and has been for Southampton and Liverpool. he was unlucky with the injuries, mate, especially, what was it, 2015-16 season. He was unbelievable. He was unplayable, and then I think he had a bad injury the season after. And then
people forget, don't they? People forget how good he was that season.
He was player of the year, wasn't he? Or it was Sterling, or I can't remember. But he was unbelievable.
My player of the season.
Well, yeah, no, I'm made up. And it doesn't shock me that Klopp loves him, because his character, he's a captain as well, mate. You know what I mean? He was captain at Southampton, even at his young age. His mentality is like Stevie's, brilliant. 100% every day. But a good character to be around as well, mate. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Ads, mate. He's one of my favourite persons I've played with, and it was a pleasure playing with him for all them years.
Listen, don't take what he's just said as all those as his mates were taking the mick out of Lallana and stuff. That's absolute false. Well, all that got said about Lallana was because of his injuries, which is we all know have been bad injuries. Liverpool had progressed in that time where we'd gone on to another level. We were getting to the Champions League final. We were starting to hope to challenge for the league and stuff. And it was like he was getting a bit left behind because of his injuries. No one was saying his ability had gone.
Yeah. No, mate. It's a fair point what you're saying. It's a fair point, but he's definitely. I hope he signs a new contract, mate, because he's definitely. Has he signed another year, or has he just started an extension?
He's done an extension just to finish this year, so that he can finish.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he signs another year, mate. To be honest, after this, I hope he does. He could go to another club and he could play consistently, but I still think he's going to play more than I don't know how many games, but he's going to have a big part to play, and we're going to win the Premier League again next season, and maybe even the Champions League. Yeah. And how can you not want to be a part of that?
Yeah,
I just hope that he stays. I still think he's got more to give. He's turned into a different player now, which he's more than capable of doing.
Yeah,
and I think he can. I still think he can give us something, mate. To be honest, yeah.
I'm a bit torn, only because I love Lallana so much. I think, you know, if COVID means that we can't sign players, then I want him to stay because he's definitely going to get minutes. But I love watching Lallana that much that if he's not going to play for us, I want to see him play the last few years of his career for someone else, just so I can watch him. That's only if he's not going to play for us. Do you know what I mean?
Fair point, mate. And if he goes on, like I said, not going to begrudge him, mate. And he probably is going to go on, and he's probably going to sign for, I don't know, Spurs or another top team, and he is probably going to play more games. I've seen
there was a few little snide links that Everton were potentially coming in for him. He's better than that, isn't
he? I don't know that. No, I'm not going to say. I think Ads was an Evertonian, you know.
Oh no!
Was he?
Oh,
wow!
You've killed me.
That's like a dagger to Phil's heart, that, Ricky.
Well, let's move swiftly on. The other thing I get a bit of stick for from the lads is how much I love Coutinho still. I'd have him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, mate, without a doubt. It just makes sense to me. Makes sense. Well, the only thing what doesn't make sense is obviously his wages are a lot higher now, probably. And obviously we would have to pay a fee, but if we can get him back, mate, we've got to get him back.
Do you not think that you're talking, this is the Coutinho that was at Liverpool a few years ago, you're saying you want back? Looking at what he's done since he's left, he weren't cutting it at Barcelona, he hasn't cut it at Bayern Munich. So it's like now he's not being good enough for them two clubs, so why is he now suddenly still good enough for us?
Yeah. I would agree, mate, if I hadn't played with him. I would totally agree, but I've played with him, mate, and I know how good he is. And I know he's probably still one of the best players in the world. And if he can just feel comfortable again and his confidence comes back, I know more than anyone, as you can tell with the story I've just said, you need to feel comfortable. You need to have confidence playing. So when his confidence comes back, and it will do, he will prove to everyone again that he's in the top 5 players in the world. And I just hope it's for Liverpool. Just hope he comes back and he starts banging them in for Liverpool again.
He's been left mid for Barcelona, hasn't he? They were trying to put him in left mid to replace Iniesta as a long term, and he's more central, isn't he? For me,
mate, he could fit in Klopp's team in one of them three.
Yeah,
obviously the three forwards, he could fit in one of them three perfectly.
Or the attacking mid, if you want to go with
Henderson
and Wijnaldum with Coutinho in front.
Yeah, because he could do the high press.
Yeah.
He done under Brendan.
Yeah,
he done it with Klopp when Klopp first come in, didn't he? We know he can do it.
Yeah.
Right. A couple of little more rumours I want you to clear up for me about your time at Liverpool. Then, Rickie. One thing I didn't forgive Sterling for, he come out and did that interview with the BBC, and it's kind of like the audacity to do that without getting permission for the club, talking all kinds of money and all that on the BBC. So I can't imagine when he come back to the club training, the likes of Gerrard and all that was too happy with that. Can you tell me anything about that time? I'm not asking you for secrets that you don't want to give, but I can't have been received well, can it?
I love Raheem, but that didn't go down well with a few of the players, especially Stevie and players who cared about the club anyway.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shock because it was Liverpool. He's talking about Liverpool and he's 20 years old, and but him saying them words and then him being in the dressing room were like two completely different people. Yeah. I couldn't believe them words came out of him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't, because he's so nice-mannered.
Yeah.
Well-spoken. I just thought, like, maybe if he was going to force a move from Liverpool, you don't do it at 20. No. You don't do it. You don't do it at 20. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You can look back now and say he was right to do what he did. I just thought he could. If a player of that ability wants to move, they will always move. He just didn't need to say the stuff he said. Yeah, I think that did rile a few players, to be honest, especially Stevie. But I don't know what Stevie said. I didn't say nothing to Raheem.
No.
Like I said, I was only there for a few months. So what right did I have? Obviously, if I was there for longer, I might have. But I think Stevie might have said stuff to him. But
well, I don't know if you know his agent, Rickie. So I'm not expecting you to back me up on this. But as Liverpool fans, we were all thinking his agent's a beaut, and that he was pushing it really.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got form with other players as well. Who was that young lad who recently left Liverpool and he went somewhere?
Oh yeah, Bobby, is it something Bobby?
Yeah.
Bobby
Gerrard's cousin.
Is it that Chimman? Yeah.
Yeah, same agent. Yeah, so he's got form for him. So maybe we can excuse Sterling by saying he was sort of at a young age manipulated by his agent there for money.
Yeah, mate. Without a doubt, he definitely wasn't his words. That's what, like I said. The lad who I know and I met at England and I was at Liverpool, he is a lovely lad. Can't speak highly enough of him. And you know what? Even though he left us, I wish them well, mate, because like Coutinho, they are such well-mannered, lovely kids.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wish nothing but success for them. It did sting a little bit the way Sterling went about it.
Yeah.
I know Coutinho got hammered as well, but I don't believe Coutinho deserved any criticism, to be honest.
Well, I think he gave it on the pitch to the last minute. I talked before about Torres. I thought he sulked on the pitch for 3 or 4 months. Coutinho played his best till the last day. He obviously wanted the move. He wanted to go to Barca.
He did, but there was times where he was playing on the back injury and things, and then next minute was playing for Brazil and scoring goals. And I think that's what it was that got to the Liverpool fans more than anything.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's asked to go and the club have said no, or I don't know, whatever's got said, and he's not happy, then I think it's up to Liverpool to let him go. I think he's done his service to Liverpool. He's more than enough done his service. the price we paid for him. He's not a Scouser. He's not even a British lad.
Mm.
And he's going to Barcelona. I think don't stand in his way. And if a club stands in his way, he is gonna feel hard treated, and deservedly so. Do you know what I mean? I think he's gonna feel hard done by.
Mm. Well, the fans just think we're Liverpool. There's no one bigger than us, and you can't leave us in January halfway through the season when we're still in the Champions League and all that. So it's the nature of football.
No, I get it, and I that's the way I think. But you can't think like that with foreign players coming in.
I agree.
You can't think.
What Suarez did worse, didn't he? Yeah. He wanted to go to Arsenal for 40 quid. So,
yeah.
All right, Rickie, we appreciate, conscious of the time that you've given us. I know it's getting on, so we'll kind of wrap it up a little bit quite soon. Just talk to us about, obviously, you've left then, you've gone to a couple more clubs and you've decided to call it a day. Did your body start letting you down, or what's happened?
Yeah, so, mate, so I went from Liverpool not playing to West Brom again. Couldn't get a run of games, couldn't get me fitness up, couldn't get me confidence up. Playing in the Premier League, it's hard, mate. It's hard, and I was 32, 33. I could feel my body at this point. So it wasn't a surprise that I was. To be fair, Tony Pulis wasn't pushing me out the door, and the club wasn't pushing me out the door.
Yeah.
But I wanted to play games before I retired. So I wanted to drop down a level to the Championship and hopefully play games and score goals and enjoy football before I retired. I didn't know how many years I had left at this point.
Yeah.
So I left. I loved West Brom, by the way.
Mm.
Great club, I've got to say. Absolute great club. Great. The dressing room was brilliant. Like, to be fair to Pulis, he has good dressing rooms. The characters he has in the dressing rooms are brilliant. Loved it. I didn't want to move, but I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So I had to move to Cardiff, and then the manager got sacked after 6 weeks.
Oh.
Warnock came in, and you know what? I like Warnock, and if me and him would have come together five years earlier,
yeah,
I would have done well for him. Do you know what I mean? He would have loved me,
yeah,
and I would have loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the end of my career. I couldn't do what he wanted me to do, and he pretty much told me, "Listen, I need you off the wage bill," because I was probably highest paid there. Mm-hmm. He said, "Listen, I need you off the wage bill. You won't be playing." And so to go out like that was devastating.
Yeah.
I was thinking about dropping down again to League One. I almost joined Wigan, but my body was damaged at this point. I was taking epidurals every few months in my back just to get through games and training. So at this point, I just said, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I was happy, to be fair. I was looking forward to get away from football. I've been on a down slope for 3 years, not playing, not enjoying it. So, but at this point, mate, I was looking forward to getting away from football, which is horrible when you think about it.
Yeah.
I was still recovering from Liverpool, to be honest, at this point.
I can imagine. Yeah. Well, look, at the final question then. So you've scored in 4 divisions. You come back full circle to the boyhood club that released you. You've scored goals for Liverpool. You've gone to a World Cup. You've scored goals for England. When you look back, are you satisfied with your career?
More than satisfied, mate. I couldn't dream of a career. 700 games I played, mate. 701 games. So
yeah.
At any level that I would have been so proud of that, but the fact that I managed to get a small stint in the Premier League, small stint at England, and a small stint at Liverpool. I mean, for a Liverpool lad, mate, you can't wish for more than that. So I'm very happy. I'm looking back on my career now with just fond memories, to be honest. Yeah. Even my Liverpool period, even though it took a while and it did upset me, I look back on it now, mate, and I'm just proud that I wore the Liverpool shirt. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. You've lived our dream, mate. Everyone listening to this, you've lived their dream, and and you've done it the right way. You know what I mean? You've worked at your trade, you've worked hard every day to get yourself where you were from nothing, and you can be nothing but proud of yourself. But,
I appreciate it. Nice one, man.
Any questions from the fans, Gary?
Yeah, we put out when we know we're having someone on, we always put out, and we get quite a lot of questions in, but we normally have a couple just to throw at you at the end. So they both come in from the website. One from Stacey. She said, "What would your five-a-side team be from the players you played with at Liverpool and the players you've watched at Liverpool?" So 2 separate teams.
Oh wow, okay.
You should have prepped
So
you for that.
in goal, I've got to go Alisson. I'll put Stevie at the back with probably. I'm just going to name off quick. If I think about it, I'll probably change. I'm just going to name off.
Go on.
So I'll probably go Stevie, Souness, Johnny Barnes, and Ian Rush.
Well, I wouldn't make any changes to that off the top of my head.
And what about for the time you were there? What would your five-a-side team be for that?
Stevie G, Coutinho, Adam Lallana, Jordan Henderson.
I think I picked that team. Class.
Well, you mentioned Henderson. That's the subject of your second and last question. John on the website said, "You played and trained with Jordan Henderson. Did you see what we're seeing now? A Champions League winning captain and soon to be Premier League winning captain, or has he raised his game since you've seen him?"
I did see it, mate, to be honest. I did see it. That season I was at Liverpool, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable that season. Some of the passes and the performances he was doing. I was like, wow, this kid is going to be something special. So I knew if the progression was going to be the way it was, I knew he was going to be as good as he was going to be. Maybe not. I always knew that when Stevie mentioned his retirement, and I knew Hendo was going to become the captain, I was worried, to be honest. I was like, this might be too early for him. Anyone who's going to take Hendo's Stevie's armband was going to struggle, to be honest. And I thought this might damage him, and it did. It did damage him, but it just shows you his character, mate, that he came back, and it's made him stronger. And I bet you that little stint where he was getting a little bit of stick, questioned by the fans, after Stevie left, that would have made him the player he is today, without a doubt. But I seen them qualities in him, mate. He's a great player.
He's such a leader, and I think Gerrard stepping away from Liverpool has allowed Henderson to flourish into because he was always in Gerrard's shadow, and he probably never would have flourished into the leader that he is today alongside Gerrard. You know, if that makes sense.
Mate, it makes sense, and same with other. That always happens, maybe, especially when you have a character like Stevie, who's so big, and his shadow is so big. It's not until these icons move on that other gems come, like Coutinho and Henderson and other players like that. So it doesn't surprise me, mate. I knew there was going to be a little bit of a dip though, because that pressure. Can you imagine that? It's inevitable. So it's brilliant. Do you know what, mate? When I seen him lifting that trophy, it did make me a little bit emotional, because I kind of know what he's been through. I was close to Hendo. I was close to Ads and Hendo the most when I was at Liverpool. So I was made up, mate. I was made up.
Yeah. Rickie, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you. As fans, we've absolutely loved every minute of it. I'm sure the listeners are going to do the same. So thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Pleasure. Nice one, lads. Pleasure.
Cheers.